Alton Towers is the UK's biggest theme park resort and currently only has a couple of permanent large-scale flat rides, whereas Thorpe Park has around 9. So if Alton Towers were to install some permanent flat rides, what would they be? Well, firstly, when will we see permanent flat rides at Alton Towers? Well, I've got to be honest, not anytime soon. Considering Nemesis, Curse of the Autumn Manor, among many more investments, I think a reasonable time to see flat rides phased into towers is in 5 to 8 years time. Potentially, we could see the park go on a shopping spree and install 3 flat rides all at the same time like Thorpe Park did back in 2001 with Detonator, Vortex and Zodiac, and potentially get a sensory overload at Alton Towers.
Sensory overload.
Or the flat rides could be slowly phased in with each season, a new flat ride for the next 3 years, let's say. I think that's more of a likely option because then they'll market each ride separately and not all together. It'd be different if the flat rides were all in one area, but they wouldn't be, so it's not like a new area of the park. Anyway, what particular flat rides could be installed in the park? Well, let's start off with arguably the most popular area, X Sector. Following Enterprises and Submissions removal, that's left a pretty big space for us to play with, and my 3 criteria when looking at flat rides, get your notebook out because this is important, the 3 Bs, big capacity, big fun, and big personality. First 2 are quite self-explanatory, last one meaning it has to look amazing off-ride to get guests actually in that queue and on the ride. If you install a low-scale, not visually appealing ride, it's not going to get those guests on. If you install a visually stunning ride or mesmerizing ride, which is a hint to one of the later flats, can you guess which one? But guests are going to want to ride it and experience the thrill if it's big, if it's large scale, if it has something a little bit different to it, rather than like a pirate ship or something very basic and standard. But if it looks and has a big personality, something about it which makes it really unique, then guests are going to want to ride it. Anyway, in this area of the park, I've always wanted to see, and will never stop banging on about it, is a gyro swing. I've always wanted to see one of these. It would be so cool. Swinging over the Smiler, swinging over Oblivion's final turn, and just theme it to the Marmalizer, theme it to Oblivion. I don't care. If a gyro swing's there, I'm on my way, because it would look so good off-ride, and gyro swings are one of my favourite flat rides of all times. They're so comfortable, and even Maelstrom at Drayton Manor is really comfortable, even though it has the overhead restraints, and a lot of the Intamins that they do nowadays has the lap bar. So get a lap bar one in X Sector, it would look so cool. Theme it up a little bit, and jobs are good. But the only concern about a gyro swing is that tree line restriction, because it swings so high in the air. Actually, the one on Intamin's website seems to be in the sky. Actually, all of their flat rides seems to be in the sky, so that's quite interesting, I guess. They're probably going to have to get their buckets and spades out and dig down once again, but a gyro swing would be such a good fit for Alton Towers in X Sector, such a high capacity thrill ride. It's a crowd pleaser, and it'd just be great. Please, just get one. It'd be so cool. Okay, moving on from my very passionate talk about gyro swings, which, by the way, they can be done by many different manufacturers. Intamin is the one that I'd like to see go for, but Zamperla also do like a discovery model. And talking of Zamperla, this is where this next flat ride is manufactured from. And yes, you guessed it correctly, it's a Zamperla Nebulaz, the very mesmerizing flat ride from Off-Ride. If you got that, let me know in the comment section down below. Mesmerizing Zamperla Nebulaz, because it looks very cool from Off-Ride. Let me know. Yes, a Zamperla Nebulaz could fit very well at the bottom of X Sector. We've only got one in the UK, and it's at Drayton Manor, open in 2022, low-key in the new Vikings area, and I think one would fit very well at Alton Towers. The only concern about Zamperla Nebulaz is the time it takes to get riders on and off. Because of those arms, they have to spin it around, and it takes quite a while to get people on and off. And is that really going to work at such a busy park like Alton Towers? I'm not too sure. Like, it has to be quite high capacity to deal with the guests at Alton Towers, and I think people waiting in the queue are going to get quite frustrated because of how long it takes. At a park like Drayton Manor, where it doesn't get as busy as Alton Towers, like, it's alright, but I'm not too sure. But it would definitely fit in X Sector. It'd probably take up the same area that Enterprise used to take up, or Twistertron, what it is now. And you could probably use the same queue line as well. So literally what they need to do is put the foundations down and place a Zamperla Nebulaz, and you could potentially even get another flat ride in X Sector, where currently the Funfair ride is, or Mixtape in this photo. Only lasted 1 season, but what a good season that was. But yeah, if they were to go with the Nebulaz, I think it'd be pretty easy to theme up. I mean, look at it from Off-Ride. It's literally straight out of the Smiler's world. Like, look at it. It's the perfect flat ride for X Sector. I'd much rather see a gyro swing, to be honest. I'm not a huge fan of the Nebulazes. I think they're a little bit boring from On-Ride, but it fit the park quite well, pushing the family market a little bit more. But talking of Zamperla, could Towers conjure up a deal with Zamperla to have 2 flat rides in X Sector, the Nebulaz and also the Super Air Race? Not the Air Race, no, not the Air Race, Super Air Race, which It's basically an air race, but it goes up in the air a little bit. Those 2 flat rides would be really cool to see, and I'd very much like to try out the super air race. The only thing about air races which ruins it a little bit is the bulky restraints with the seatbelt. Like, could they not at least thin down the restraints? I don't mind over the head restraints, but these ones are just overly bulky, like unnecessarily bulky. If you think of Infusion, think about those restraints and put them on an air race. That's what it is. Moving over to another area of Alton Towers, which is currently getting revamped for 2024, it's of course Forbidden Valley. If I was manager of Alton Towers, Forbidden Valley would be such a key focus to get that funfair ride out and replace it with something permanent, because we've got to have Forbidden Valley looking the best that it possibly can for next season, ready for Nemesis, take Funk and Fly out, and potentially remove the whole of the Retro Squad by next season. That's probably not going to happen, but I think they will remove Funk and Fly and put it potentially in Dark Forest or another Retro Squad ride in Dark Forest, but definitely not in Forbidden Valley, because this area has got to be looking stunning for next season. What would be even better and what would even top off the Nemesis retrack, which will just put the cherry on top of the cake, would be to have a permanent flat ride for next season. Like, have the Nemesis retrack and have a brand new flat ride. I mean, how perfect would that be? I don't think we could ask for any more at that point.
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
Now, I know all of you are going to say bring back RIPSAW, but guys, let's be honest, that's not happening. RIPSAW is gone. It's in the history of Alton Towers. They've got to move forward. New flat rides have come out, and I think it's just time to move on. I know it's so sad, but hashtag bring back RIPSAW. It's got to be done. It's not RIPSAW, but it's a very similar ride to a top spin, and it's a Tourbillon. I think that's how you say it. Tourbillon? Tourbillon, and it's manufactured by Intamin, and it looks very confusing and very interesting at the same time. I've never ridden one of these, so I don't know what it's actually like to ride, but I think it fit pretty well in Forbidden Valley. Call it RIPSAW's Revenge, which someone put in the comments down below in one of my other videos. I don't know who it was and what your username is, but a very good name. I like that. RIPSAW's Revenge is very creative. I really like that. Paying homage to their older rides, but also bringing it into 2023. RIPSAW's, not just RIPSAW's Revenge. I very much like that, and I'm pretty sure Alton Towers still have some of the old RIPSAW theming, so they could just reuse some of that. If you have been on one of these, let me know down below and how they actually ride, or whether they just look good off ride like the Nebulaz and don't actually ride brilliantly. But do let me know if you've been on one of these and whether it'd be a good sort of replacement for RIPSAW. Another one that could potentially go in Forbidden Valley is the suspended twin hammer. Basically, this is Pandemonium at Drayton Manor, but with a few minor changes like a new restraint system, which Pandemonium really needed at Drayton Manor. It could have been a really good flat ride if it had a restraint system and didn't feel like you're encapsulated in like a cage of some sort. But this would be a pretty good fit for Forbidden Valley. Could they theme it to like 2 Nemesis arms or something like that? I don't know. They're always very creative at Alton Towers, but this one that we can see in the images does look like it's some sort of monster or beast, so I think it could be easily done in Forbidden Valley. Or it could be like a Phalanx military theme. Maybe it's a piece of machinery that the Phalanx use. I'm not too sure, but any flat ride, I'm going to be honest, would do for now. The only problem with Forbidden Valley is that it's not a huge space to play with. Unlike X-Sector, they haven't got that much space. Where RIPSAW used to be, is quite compact, so they'd have to get quite a compact flat ride to fit in this compact piece of land. Like, that's how they'd have to do it. Another compact piece of land is over in Dark Forest, where Roller Disco or the Waltzers used to be, and this is a very compact piece of land. To be honest, I don't think there's really much that you can actually do with this in particular. Like, this is where Zamperla Nebulaz would probably have to go. It'd probably fit a Nebulaz and a Q-line, but apart from that, there's not really too much you could do. If they did have the space, a Skyflyer would be pretty good to see in that area. Manufactured by Gerstlauer Amusement Rides, the same as Skyforce over at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, where you control how much you want to spin on those planes. I mean, it all depends on space really, but one thing I know for sure is that this area doesn't really have a space for a gyro swing, unless they destroy some of the buildings or trees, which I don't think Alton Towers can even do, so. But there we go, flat rides at Alton Towers in the next 5 to 8 years I think is very likely. Some honourable mentions, or an honourable mention, to Intamin's Drop Tower ride, which I would absolutely love to see at Alton Towers, but I just didn't put it in the video because I don't think it will happen. With Nemesis Subterra, the 4 drop towers in there, and also the tree line restriction at Alton Towers. Like, it could happen, they could dig a big oblivion hole where the drop tower drops into, but I just don't think it's very likely. Let me know in the comments what flat ride you would like to see at Alton Towers in the next 5 to 8 years. And if you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching right till the end. And because you did, I got a little sentence for you. Put this in the comments down below if you made it this far. Hashtag gyro swing for the win. It's got to be done. Come on, gyro swing at Alton Towers would be epic. Thanks for watching, and this video has been way too long, so goodbye.